Come, friend, now lend me an ear, for a tale of Victor the Weird. He went on an adventure with he, him, and himself, and also his mighty fine beard. Now gather round, I'll tell you about this mighty beast. He may look as human, as mere as you, friend, but soon your eyes will feast upon this marvelous creature with many body parts. His one shirt may fool you, but what if I told you his chest had 4 red hearts? One mouth but 1,000 voices, one mind and limited choices, 2 handsome dice, 2 handsome dice. The audience rejoices. He's going to play D&D with him, himself, and he. Those are his pronouns, it's really profound. It's time for D&Me, featuring Victor and Victor and Victor, and Victor and Victor and Victor, and Victor and Victor and Victor and Victor and Victor and Victor and Victor. One knows who knows how many repeats. So come and sit down in an empty seat. It's time for D&Me. 2 eyes, 4 cheeks, 2 souls on his feet, 2 hands for many new foes to defeat, 1 tongue, 2 lips through which to speak, but just one but.
Hey everybody, I'm Victor Rivera and welcome to D&Me, where I play with myself. I play D&D with myself, and welcome to episode 21! Yay! We did it! The last episode of 2021, which I think works out perfectly, episode 21, at the end of 2021. That was as perfect as episode 13, which was Dean Spooky, which was the Halloween episode. That worked out very nicely. Welcome! That theme song was produced and performed by Bradley Owens. You can find them at Bradley Owens. Period. Bread, L-E-Y, Ovens. And welcome. I have a lot of great stuff for this last episode of 2021. But I have a pretty healthy D&M pregame, so let's go on into it. 1. I did not like any of the feat facts I found. So I'm not going to share any of them. Because I was like, okay. So I just need to click this open real quick. All right. I didn't like any of the feat facts I found. But over Christmas, I have a lot of cool stuff to show you for Christmas. But my mom found these reflexology socks. So something cool my dad pointed out is that if you put both together, then it is supposed to be like the human body, so both halves. The most obvious example of that is the intestine. So we have the ascending colon and then the descending colon. So yeah, it's kind of neat. So they work out like that. Let's see, is the heart on only one of them? No, the heart's in the middle. A liver, spleen. Yeah, so those are cool. And speaking of gifts, then I actually got a lot of great D&D and D&Me stuff for Christmas. So I'm going to go through all of them right now. First and foremost, I got this shirt because I'm the dungeon master. That's why. It's very good. And then let me show you all the cool stuff. So Lindsay and Adrian got me this great D&D notebook with a D&D pen, and it's very sweet. They wrote nice things in it, which are for me to see. My grandma impressively spelled everyone's name wrong, so except for Waddles, but my 4 boys. So let's see, what's a good order for it? So she made Rock this necklace, and every bead has symbology behind it. So I'm going to wear that. Okay. Oh, will it not fit over my big head? I'm going to make it. There we go. Perfect. So that's good. And then for Onyx, she thought this scarf was excellent, and I agree. You can just see Onyx like, yeah, that's good. For Toot Toot, she gave him collected stories from a Jewish author. And then some sunglasses that will finally fit Toot Toot. So if this isn't the title card for episode 21, I don't know what is. Yeah, that'll draw him in. She also... Grandma has very Tipsy the Forest Gnome Rogue energy. Because she got me a Tipsy-sized mug filled with pennies. Uh-huh. And then she got Waddles a little, like, Hispanic scarf. So isn't that cute? Here, let me do all these together. Yeah, that's excellent. That is very good. I cannot wear all of them at the same time. I'll keep on Rock's necklace, though, because that's a nice, subtle accent. My sister got me these two wonderful books. Tales from a Secondhand Wand Shop, Book 1. They were the best of gnomes, they were the worst of gnomes. And then Tales from a Secondhand Wand Shop, Book 2. Gnomes and Halflings and Assassins, oh my. So these are fun. As she described, they have very, like, self-published energy, which D&Me does too. So, Robert P. Wills, I gotcha. Well, my sister got these. And thusly, I gotcha. So, yeah. Also, she's doing some amazing D&Me art. So, more pictures of that to come. It's great so far. Very thoughtful. Thank you. Speaking of thoughtful, one of my great graphic design friends at Geek Orthodox, they are Ian and Tammy Liano. And we've been friends for years. I went to my first Wizard World Comic-Con, like my big first Comic-Con, in Philadelphia, actually. And they were there, and they're from Asheville. So I got their Season's Greetings card this year. And both me and my sister got the Dungeon Bunting tribute flag. So these are kind of like Tibetan prayer flags. Oh, traditional prayer flags. Traditional prayer flags have been used in Tibet for over 1,000 years as a way of blessing the world. The flags do not carry prayers to gods, as many suppose. Rather, the Tibetans believe that the prayers and mantras will be blown by the wind to spread goodwill and compassion to all pervading space, bringing benefit to the entire vicinity. Our original take on this ancient art form blends traditional styles with the imagery of classic dungeon monsters, each exemplifying one of the six definitive attributes of heroes, so that those benefits may spread to everyone who sees them. This flag set is 5 feet wide with 3 feet of extra cords to each end to provide countless display options. So, here we go. These are very good, y'all. So, the Mimic for strength. The Griffin for dexterity in green right there. The Demogorgon for constitution. The Beholder for intelligence, the Dragon for wisdom, and the Unicorn for charisma. So those are very good. Again, that's Geek Orthodox, and they have some of my favorite art ever. Like, check them out. Ooh, I should put them up right here. That would be cool. And then, like, my Zooms for other meetings and stuff, they'll be like, what are those? And they're Tibetan prayer flags. My dad got me a pair of a set of polyhedral dice, pearlized. These are called Mountain Heart, because that's a design that he likes, and I really appreciate it. So I'm going to play with them tonight. And then he also, the sweet man, he wrapped a thing for Waddles, and then he bought some queso fresco and hid it in the fridge, and then my mom came up with welcome to Queso Quest Part 2. So when we were opening up our stockings, I got that, and my sister got a kitty quest because she has 2 kittens now. So we had a scavenger hunt right at the beginning of Christmas, and it was amazing. So thank you, Poppy. And then so much cool stuff. Let's see. My mom got me this shirt and a alcoholic bag of holding, where she chose out some airplane bottles that are very thematically appropriate. Goldschlager. I talked earlier in this series about Goldschlager, how I wanted to have an airplane bottle for my players, and then they drink it for inspiration. So that's great. And then bop, 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 Fireball, which again, I hot glued a Fireball, which is excellent. And then she thought this one was very good for Victor for just the facial hair and the caramel. It's very Durnan. So that's great. These Larceny for Tipsy, Captain Morgan Rum for Onyx, Sirac for Rock, and then Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, Peanuts for Toot Toot. You know what? That might be the title card right there. She was like, oh, I hope Toot Toot isn't allergic to nuts. Hasn't come up yet. So that's awesome. And then speaking of drinking, what can I drink the Larceny one for Tipsy in? This bespoke Waddle shot glass. Isn't that wonderful? That is done by Etsy artist The Cat in the Stars. So thank you. Happy holidays. Yes, indeed. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. It's wonderful. And then it comes with some nice little cards and magnets. So I will be reaching out to The Cat in the Stars, a much better Michael Myers movie. I think I don't have my headphones in, so that's why I'm twipping over my words so much here. But that, and then speaking of drinking some more, I got the DnMeAdventures, like Jägermeister, DnMeAdventures, Drink Master's Guide. So, 75 epic RPG cocktail recipes to shake up your campaign. And let me just read one. Asamartini, because of the angelic Asamar race that Angel is, Angel, for Waterdeep's Night Watch or Guard Watchers, whatever. And then continuing the segues, speaking of books, my mom found Forgotten Realms Fantasy Adventure Book 1, The Dark Elf Trilogy, Homeland by R.A. Salvatore. So this is the first Dritz Diorden book. How cool is that? With Guinevere.
There's a little kitty right there.
So that's exciting. And then for Toot Toot, she got him a legitimate harmonica. And then I played a little bit, and it's not like those $5 harmonicas you find everywhere else. This is like a legitimate musical instrument. So I will save y'all from that horrible screeching. Unlearned horrible screeching. So I might try and learn the D&Me in like chords and stuff. And try and play it. So that's excellent. And then getting down to the coolest presents. One, my mom found at Target these Anchor ice molds. So she found, gosh darn, ice anchors for Onyx. How cool is that? Oh my gosh, I have a first time chat from viewer. So thank you, X_Cthulhu_Hop_X. Yay, a little heart and a pulsating heart and 100. I love it. I don't know what it means, but yay, thank you. So, ice anchors. And then, last but certainly not least, she got me some magic ink for rock. So these are fabulous markers. I only have like 5 primary color markers elsewhere, like on my desk. So that's great. Some magic ink for what my mom did. Little backstory for this. D&Me comes out of me doing The Artist's Way, which is like an exploration to find your artistic self again if you feel lost or aimless. So I went through all the activities with my mom. It was like a 12-week kind of course in a book. So for the Artist's Way, I made D&Me, and then she makes books now. So she makes like upcycling books with like pockets that are made out of Trader Joe paper bags and stuff, and she binds them herself and does a whole awesome spine thing. So she made Rock's spell book. So this is incredible fabric, cover page, like binding, and then like the innards are purple, and she made this wonderful sample sheet, and I'm absolutely going to do that. So for each page I'm going to have 2, because I have really, really, really small handwriting, so like trying to fill each page with a spell, that's a little overwhelming for me. So I'm just going to divide each page into 2, and then like handwrite all of the details of the spell. Amazing! So that's a lot of cool D&D and D&Me stuff for Christmas. Thank you, everybody, for all the support thus far. We are 5 months and a day into D&Me, this entertainment experience. Oh, and the last little bit. The other day was half off Barnes & Noble hardcover books. So I went and bought myself 4 more books. I almost have all of them, y'all. I have like 10. I'm 10 away from having all of them. And I'm a collectionist, so I'm definitely going to get all of them. But these are like 3 of the newest. Let's see, we have Strixhaven, A Curriculum of Chaos, The Wild Behind the Witchlight, Princes of the Apocalypse, and Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. So that's all. I have so much great reading to do. And then, before I move on to something else, I just want y'all to know that I am... Wow, have I been talking loud that whole time? I am really I am putting effort in now to make 2022 goals and really make D&Me exceptional. And it has so far been absolutely amazing. But this means a lot to me, this show. So I want to make it bigger and better on Twitch and all my D&Medias. And really, this was an amazing first 5 months. And thank you all for watching and supporting. And I want to keep doing it. Let's keep doing it, baby. So, part of that also is right here at the end of the year, I had 90 and then 91 Twitter and Instagram followers respectively. And so I asked out into the internet for some more followers to hit 100 by the new year. And for Twitter, I have like 108 followers now. So thank you, Twitter. And then for Instagram, I have 99 followers. So if I can get one more by January 1st, 2022, that would be awesome. So make it happen. Manifest it. Yay. So that's fun. Now that was 18 minutes, but well worth it, I feel. Bye, reflexology socks. I don't need you on my desk. I have 3 Dean revisions. 1, I have talked to one of my friends, one of my very, very good friends here in Atlanta, who is a bona fide director, and who went out to LA and stuff. So I asked him about these camera movements, just to make sure I'm telling my audience the correct thing. And then he had 2 little revisions to it. 1, for dolly, which is when the camera moves in space forwards and backwards, he says that unless you actually use a dolly, which are the train tracks, that like dolly is more the equipment, the actual train tracks. And then instead, or in addition, we can say push in and then pull backwards. So that's what the little dolly edition, golly. By 2022, by December 29th, 2022, I will have this down, figuring out the mirrored effects. So, dolly, and then on the other side, well, here, I can actually do this. Dang. Oh, nope. Golly. So, for this middle one, pedestal, he says, and pedestal is when the camera moves in space up and then down. So, on a vertical y-axis. Yes. He says that you can, instead of pedestal, you can say boom, which is also the boom mic. So if you see sound people with the sticks and then the fuzzy, like, cattail, roadkill squirrel kind of dealy going, that is also a boom, but that's a boom mic. So boom is up and down vertically. Shouldn't do this on the internet, but there we go. So that's camera movement. That's one of my Dean revisions. 2, last time I said that Fae Day happened right at the end of winter. So that is the solstice. I said it was the solstice. It is incorrect. What it actually is the vernal equinox. So, I mean, I chose a word. I chose the wrong word, but you learn something new every day. And then my last little Dean revision here for Dean pregame is I was so excited, it's not the right word. I was so struck and visceral last episode against the zombie ogre when one of Toot Toot's dissonant whispers failed. When the zombie ogre saved his constitution or whatever saving throw. And then I was like, dang it didn't work. Bah, bah, bah. And then I moved on. However, what should have actually happened was that zombie ogre then gets half the damage that the level 2 Dissonant Whispers does. So if it fails, it gets half damage, which is 4d6 psychic damage. So I'm just going to roll that right now to see what he would have gotten. And with Poppy's die, so 1, 6, so 7 altogether, 3, 10, and then 3. So 13, round down, well, divided by 2, then round down, so 6 psychic damage. Not bad. That's kind of right in the middle. So I wanted to do that for me. And here we go. In the last episode, episode 20, oh man, I said the wrong episode, I think. Anyways. No, episode 20, Jingle Bell Rock. Onyx, Rock, and Toot Toot went off to the woods to help Spanish Moss Tree, our tree ant, solve whatever is delaying his wood shipments from coming in. Oh, I need some atmosphere. I need to set up my studio. Because otherwise, y'all won't know what's going on. This is half the magic right here. Transporting us to another world, a world of fantasy and long rests. And let's see. Oh, we're being sucked into a vortex. Oh. And now, I don't know. I need to work that out. Maybe it's... Oh, well. Oh, now we're in a snowy cityscape. Okay. Oh, the chat is blowing up right now. 715 Cthulhu Hop did the other heart and 100 because down at the bottom they got to be number 100 on Instagram. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you, Cthulhu Hop, which is my favorite 1950s horror. Wow, thank you. What a great way to start the episode. Validation. Starting off the new year right, so thank you very much. Whee! All right. So episode 20, my 3 boys goes into the forest to try and help Spanish Mustache, golly, solve whatever is blocking the wood from coming in. And they finish their battle with Frosty the Snowman, and then further on into the woods, they encountered a zombie ogre, an ogre zombie. And, but before that, they found a bunch of logs on the side of the road and half of a cart. And then eventually they found the other half once they defeated the ogre zombie with a rendition, a tearful, heartfelt rendition of Christmas boots or Fayday boots, because it's now, after they defeated the zombie and then took a long rest, they were woken up by 4 floating women in the middle of the woods, and they were met by 4 Fae. So more specifically, Fae Reagan, Piper Perry, Blake Blossom, and Autumn Amber Rain. So these mischievous Fae tried to trick my boys into giving them their name and attention, and they floated back into the woods to begin Shay 19, which is the date of the in-game day, which is Fae Day. So they need to keep an eye as they resume in the middle of the woods. Let me roll down to my thing. Okay, so to capture the last little moments, then Toot Toot and Rock and Onyx are still sitting by a cold campfire, and they just watch these 4 women back out and then disappear behind trees. And there's some tense energy in the air. Okay, gentlemen. Toot Toot starts. We need to get back home and make sure that Tipsy's okay. Rock, do you remember the details of Fae Day? Before we go any further, I just want to make sure that we are going to be good. And then Rock starts with, yes, I do. Shay 19 Fae Day, the veil between this world and the fairy realm of the Feywild, and then he gestures to now maybe the empty woods around him, is thought to be weak on this day. This phenomenon provokes caution in rural areas, with the folk avoiding woodlands, putting offerings of food on doorsteps and the like. It is an occasion of much drinking. I would gesture to Tipsy, but Onyx, you are very good at drinking. Mm-hmm. Drinking, singing. I can gesture at you, Toot Toot. And dancing in Waterdeep. The wealthy host elaborate masked balls, while poorer folk don costumes of their own make and travel door to door, gaining brief entry into the celebrations in exchange for performing a short song, probably is what I meant to type, Victor, or a short play. All adopt the guises of Fey beings and the supposed rulers of the Feywild, such as Queen Titania, Oberon, and Hirsch Sam, the Prince of Fools. Those included to remain... Victor did not type this very well. Those included to remain sullen in the face of such frivolity had best stay home, for celebrants do their utmost to evoke a smile from those they meet. Okay, so what I think that means is that we do definitely need to go home to the Trollskull Manor to check on Tipsy, to make sure that he is okay and he knows the rules of the Fang. And we need to expect visitors now. So, shall we move on? And then Tutu goes, I think that is a very good idea. Gather your belongings, let us head out as quick as we can, and then hoof it. I don't have hooves. I have, what are my feet called? Elephant feet. Oh, if I had looked up feet facts, each elephant foot has 5 toes. There's got to be, what is an elephant foot called? If it's just called foot, they're not hooves. Elephant feet are not hooves, nor are they paws or claws. In bold, they don't have any specified name. They're just feet. Okay, thanks. All right. So we need to skedaddle. So my 3 boys get up. So they get up and then they start heading. Actually, so they are a little bit in the woods. They have the 2 halves of the cart that are separated, broken apart. They have them as makeshift shelters right now. So Onyx is actually going up onto, like, emerging out of the woods and going up onto the road a little bit. And he is going to examine the now fleshy puddle that is the ogre zombie, where Rock, halfway up the hill, goes, oh, hold on. Should we... Yes. Onyx, you look over there and see if there's any... you can handle the trophy to see... I know last time you checked, but there was no head, so try to check if there's anything else. And then, Toot Toot, I think you and I should look at the carts to see if there's anything we can bring back as confirmation that these are indeed Spanish Mustache's carts, just to verify that our quest is complete. We've only really done like 2 quests by now. Well, we haven't even finished this one, so really 1 for finding Floon. And Tutor goes, I think that is a very good idea. Onyx, could you do us the honor of looking through the... And then you hear a... because Onyx is already just elbow deep in it. Well, actually, let me roll for that. So, I like how that's one of my phrases. Onyx, he rolled very poorly last time, so this will be... yeah, this will be like another nature check. Or survival. He's pretty good at survival. I would say Victor has not dug around in a corpse or roadkill or dead things before, so I will say it's survival, because... well, thanks, narrative. So that's a 5 plus a 4 survival, so a 9. He's just digging, and it's still early. Oh, so it's still early, so he's like... and then he like yawns, like he puts his hands that are covered in slime through his beard, like he's covering up his mouth and stretching, and then wipes his eyes in his elbow. I was gonna have him rub his eyes to get the morning gunk out, but that's too gross. So he's still waking up, kind of, and he can't find anything. I can't find anything. Oh, well, all right, keep looking. Dude, I don't want to be involved in any of that, so I will let him do that. No, I think that's a very good idea. However, we can investigate these carts. I will help you, which mechanically means that Rock will get advantage. So that is a 16, which is very good. And then a 5, that same Onyx 5. So a 16 plus 6 for Rock. With a 22, then they're going around. Toot Toot goes to one of the cart halves, and then Rock is looking at the other. And then Rock, on his cart half, finds something. Oh, I found something. And then he points to, like, the top of the cart, where then horses are attached with reins and stuff. And on the front is this little placard, this wooden sign that says "The Forest for the Trees," established EST period 10, and then here, this is actually fun. This is a D100, which is 2 D10s. One is technically the D100 because it has the zeros behind all the numbers. And then this one is the D10, which is that without those zeros. So EST period 1025, established in the year 1025, which, according to my calendar that I have written down, right now, currently, it is 1492 DR, the year of 3 ships sailing. So, Spanish Mustache has been around for a while. So, they take this little placard. Rock kind of like digs at it, and then he brings up his small knife that he has in his inventory to like kind of pry it open a little bit. And then it comes out, and it's, you know, like 6 inches long. The placard. The little piece of wood is 6 inches long. Nope, not great. So he takes that and goes, "This will be excellent." Onyx, do you hear? Ugh. And then as Rock and Toot Toot approach Onyx, who is now kind of, when you leave a puppy unattended by a mud puddle, and then you turn back and then you look and then the puppy's just like covered in mud, except like the little eyes, and then the blink, blink. And then Rock goes, oh boy. Onyx, use your survival and tell which way the wind's blowing. And then Onyx, all right, 10 plus 4, 14. It's blowing that way, this way. So like, and then Rock heads upwind of Onyx, and then he's kind of walking backwards now out of the woods. Like now the pack is traveling out of the woods, down the road, into the woods and out of the woods and into the woods and out of the woods. And then throughout this little endeavor, very much like when they emerge from the sewers, then Rock is using prestidigitation to clean off like pixelized square footage of Onyx. And he looks checker patterned, but much better because he's covered in ick. And then they walk back towards the field ward. Oh, what does that mean? Holy cow, y'all, the chat is blowing up. This is amazing. Normally it's my mom, my dad, and my sister, and I love them very much. But I have Cthulhu Hop, and then I have down at the bottom first time chat from viewer Ashley Mingo that says mud puppies. Oh my gosh, hello, thank you. And then I have Tipsy number 1 fan _ I touch so many dead things. And then Dodie or something says, I touch so many dead things. And then my sister says, I touch so many dead things, which is very funny. That's a familial inside joke where we went to the beach and there were a lot of dead horseshoe crabs washed up on the beach. And I proceeded to poke a lot of them with the stick, and I might have picked up a couple. And then we went to a restaurant, and then we sat down, and I was like, I need to wash my hand. I touch so many dead things. So that's delightful. Hello, everybody. Welcome to D&Me episode 21, which is the last episode of 2021. Thank you for joining me. So, they are heading a little southwest to the field ward. And Victor, what's the field ward? Well, let me tell you. This is Waterdeep. I did it. I made the poster map a thing. So this is the poster map by Jason Engel. And it's very big. It's a whole poster, like, folded up on my desk right now. So I wanted to, I have this brought up because I want to educate y'all on the different fields. The different wards that I've been talking about for the last 20 episodes. So, we started in Castle Ward. Let me bring up my D&Me arrow. So, Castle Ward, the Yawning Portal is about there. And that's where we first entered, where my boys were magically summoned onto the wintry streets of Waterdeep. And they wound up in the Castle Ward. So they spent the night in Yawning Portal, and then they were asked by Volothamgedar to go down into the Dock Ward, which is south of Castle Ward, to find his friend Floon Blagmar. So, like, this is pretty much the street, that's the high road, actually, to go into Dock Ward, and then they encountered over, like, here-ish, a rather sketchy neighborhood, and that's where Zoblob, the odd Zoblob shop, or the old Zoblob shop, I think it's the old Zoblob shop, and then the Skewered Dragon, and then they went up to Candle Lane, where they found the Kenku warehouse, and then into the sewers, and then it popped them out, like, over here by the actual docks of Dock Ward. So that's Dock Ward, which is right next to the Southern Ward. I don't think we did anything in the Southern one. I actually have my map that I made notes on, so let me check. Nope. The Peabodies is in the Dock Ward. Kind of here-ish. Yep. Nothing really in the Southern Ward. But I just wanted to check. And then kind of going up north, then we have the Trades Ward. which is right next to the City of the Dead, which is like their cemetery. And it's a big old, if you've ever been to Atlanta's cemetery, the Oakland cemetery, it's pretty much that. It's like it's a whole couple city blocks in and of itself. And then going up, we have the big Northward. Troll Skull Manor is about here. But, boop. And that's Northward. And then we've only briefly seen the C word, which I can't say because it's a rated R show, I guess. The C word. But we saw it a little bit when Onyx went up the turret and then looked out over westward and saw the tops of fancier buildings. So this is like the more wealthy area of Waterdeep. And then finally up here, which is actually the newest ward, they made fields and they've converted them into very poor housing. So this is the field ward. And this is kind of the route they have to take in order to go from the Troll Skull Manor into the field ward and then out, and they've been over here kind of in the woods. So isn't that cool? So I wanted to show y'all the wards. This shows more for me than y'all at this point. So that's that. Those are all my mappies. And then, boop. This is zoomed in a lot. So we are coming back through. This is the high ward into the field ward. And then as we enter into the field ward, beep, beep. Then as we enter into the field ward with the north gate into the north yard, which is right here. Then as we enter in, then we see a bunch of the lower economic status people in, and now it's been a couple hours since the break of morning when they were in the forest, and so they spent a couple hours coming down. Onyx, briefly as they're coming back, Onyx looks to where the snowman pretty much was, and like he's scouring over that snowy hill and can't find anything, and then he huffs and kind of moves on down. And then as they enter the ward, then they see it's like 10:30 in the morning, and they enter, and then they see children running around, and it's a bustle as they enter the field ward, and there's frivolity, and there's already music playing, and spirits are raised, even though this area, the smell is starting to catch up, because things are warming up as we get into spring. So the snow's melting more, and the heavy foot traffic already this early in the morning is stomping down the snow and digging the mud up, so even more mud. And we are seeing this like parade and festivities starting already. And to Rock and Toot Toot, this is a little, as fun as it is for everyone else, there's like a little bit of dread creeping in, because they're thinking, oh no, so there are actual fae and fairies out here, but everyone is dressing up as fairies. So Toot Toot says out loud, gentlemen, we need to be extraordinarily careful. So I don't... Onyx, where's Onyx? And then you see Onyx hoofing it into the north yard, and then Hook sliding a little bit in the mud, and then turning left, and then Rock starting to run to catch up. He's going to the Buzzard Bros, and so then they follow him, and then Onyx like skids in some mud and like ducks right into an alleyway, and so everyone has to run to keep up, and he winds up in front of Buzzard Bros Butchers, where it's this little building kind of dwarfed by all the other ramshackle buildings around here. And then the door's already busted open. Well, the door's already open, and then Onyx, hey, do you have my trophies and bones and hides ready yet? And then jolting up from resting his head on his black wings, then this vulture Aarakocra is looking up. What? Oh, Jesus. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, boy. Onyx, listen, we've been working for, like, the past couple days now. It's a lot. It's honestly a lot more than we thought And then he looks down and, like, you hear, like, you see his body twist around a little bit, and then you hear, and then, ow, what the hell is that for? Get up, Onyx is here. What, Onyx? Golly, that bone boy doesn't know when to get up. Then you see these two black wings, like, go on top of the counter, and then pushing himself up, Vicky is sitting up going, holy cow, it's bright. Hey, how you doing, Onyx? How you doing? I'm fine. Are they ready yet? No, man, they're not ready yet, all right? We've been working for like 48, I don't even know how many hours. They will be done by the end of today, though, okay? So, hey, the other two, as Rock and Toot Toot enter the building. You still want your tusks? Yes, these are my tusks. Okay, I just want to ask. Golly, can you turn down the sun? It's so bright in this place. And then Vinny, the vulture Aarakocra, goes, no, you shut the hell up. Okay, Onyx, because I don't want daily checkups. I don't want hourly checkups. I have this preposition for you. And, like, his black feather hand extends out towards Onyx. Things will actually, we're both exhausted, honestly. If you want to help us, it seems like this is kind of your bag, so we will, your help will be greatly appreciated. We will tell you all of what we're doing so that we can make sure everything's above board. Yeah, because we are legitimate businessmen. Can you shut the fuck up? I'm just saying. I know, but if you help us, then we can teach you a few tricks of the trade, and then you can help us with other endeavors later, okay? But in order for us to finish this before the end of Fayday, then if you could help, I would like that very much, please. Okay. Hop on behind this counter. Oh, he's already, hey, how you doing? And then Onyx is just there. So, can I, Vicky, can you show him in the back? Yeah, no, I'll do it. Come on. Bum boy, follow me. And so then a very tired, like, you see his neck kind of like boop, 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 as Vicky, the vulture Aarakocra, heads towards the back, and then Onyx turning around like when you deposit a child at the end of a Disneyland ride, and then you watch them go off like through the line, and then just with the glee, like, ah, that's kind of what Onyx is doing right now. Instead of the money eyeballs peering out, then you just see uncontainable enthusiasm as Onyx turns his head over his shoulders to look back at Rock and Toot Toot, and both Rock and Toot Toot, like proud parents, are like, oh, go, you have fun. Oh, I hope he wears himself out. And then Vicky nope. And then Vinny, the remaining vulture Aarakocra, goes, hey, how you doing? Can I do anything for either of you? I am good. Rock, do you need meat-based products? Or what else do you offer here? We do bones, which your friend, holy crap, he's persistent, huh? Yes, that is one of his strong suits. Yeah, I guess. We do bones and hides and, well, Talons and Tanning has the certificate for hides, so we can do hides over there. We can do deli meat. I can slice up some, I didn't want to say this when Bone Boy was around, but we got some nice dwarf under here. Okay, we are heading out. Rocks, do you ready? Yeah. Oh, no, I'm good. And then you hear the clink, clink, clink of the doors as both of them exit. And then Rock and Toot Toot take a breath, like a sigh of relief outside, but then immediately Toot Toot's nose spins up like party favor in reverse. Okay, so Field Ward is even more stinky than I remember. Rock, can we please go back to the Northward? And then Raku is pinching his nose right underneath his pinched glasses on the bridge of his nose.
I think that is a very good idea. Let us head out.
And so they find themselves going to the Northward. And as they travel through the these guys. So over here in the very stinky like Stench Alley, the appropriately named Stench Alley, and then Chop Street and Tanner Alley, that's kind of where the Buzzard Bros are. So then they head back down this way and then head down to these gates where they find themselves back in the Northward. And Toot Toot goes, let us go to see Spanish mustache. Whew, I am tripping myself up with that. Let us go. And then they go, and then now actually with knowing the procedure, they're going to roll investigation. Toot Toot will help Rock out again because Rock has the better investigation. That is a 2. That is a 10 and a 10 plus 6, that's 16. That's good. So then shifted a little bit different from the first 2 times that this giant wooden barn was previously. Then they go inside, and as they go from the dirtier field ward into the north ward, then there are like street vendors and carts set up on the side of the road, and the streets are more lively than they have been. Stuff is warming up, so they actually like Rock opens up his dark gray leather duster and has that a little bit open, and then Toot Toot has his very thick Inuit outfit unbuttoned his Inuit fur-lined winter outfit buttoned up a little bit because like here in Atlanta in December, it's been like 70s lately, and it's been gorgeous, but also disquieting. Global warming. No, it's fine. It's a fantasy world. But there's already hustle and bustle and people going in, and then they have like face paint with little fairy wings and like sprinkle and glitter, and there's a lot of sprinkle and glitter everywhere. And sure enough, homemade costumes like Dawn. It's very much the best of Ren Fair, as you see an occasional brave acrobat with stilts walk past, and it's before 11, but things are starting to ramp up, and you can hear as you go through then various houses whose doors are open. Then you can hear some like music coming out of one, and then a reenactment of who knows what coming out of another in a short play format. I'm gonna take off Rock's necklace because it's a little. I don't wear jewelry except for my grandfather's ring. So thank you, Grandma. It was just like I am. It's almost a year of me wearing this straight, the ring, but the necklace is still like, hey, I'm new, but to my neck. So they are going south into the North Ward, and then they go into this barn building. And even before they fully open the sliding wooden door, then you see Woodrow the Woodwode running around. And then he sharply looks over with his black broken bark face with the yellow motes of light coming through for his eyeballs, and then the eyeballs over to where Rock is, and then he goes, bed! And then Rock goes, I didn't spend the comprehend languages. I still can't understand you, Woodrow. I am sorry. But eventually, I need to learn how long it takes to learn languages, because I already know. And then Woodrow's already off, and you see especially this large piece of sheet plywood that he's working delicately. There's a lot of holes in it and stuff, and you can't really see from this distance, but he's already. And then he's working on it. And then instead of being all the way in the back of the barn, then Spanish Mustache is already in the front lit half of the wooden barn, and he's like rearranging furniture and making them into like rows and columns, kind of like being of like a dresser drawer and a bed stand and a bed frame leaning up against the wall, in order for people to come and pick them up. And he's like adjusting things with his giant branch hands. And then you see the this is very cool. So you see the naked branches brush up against the ceiling as Spanish Mustache, who is also, his nickname is Spanish Moss Tree. Spanish Mustache's naked branches brush up in the ceiling, and you see two new things. One, since yesterday, then you see these ribbons tied to the tied to the branches. So they come down, and it's very, very large fairy hair, pretty much. My mom has fairy hair where like you tie little strands of glitter string to your hair, and it's great. But he has very much like nativity poles. What's the thing? It's okay, me describing the thing, like a pole that you see in elementary schools, and they have the ball with the string attached to it, and then you hit it. Okay, maypole. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. The maypole, very much. Tetherball. Thank you, Sarah. So yes, so a maypole, where it's a bunch of these like long, thin pieces of fabric coming down from a lot of his branches. And then at the very top, you see these tiny little green buds all over pretty much every end of a twig and a branch. Then you see little dots of green. And then he turns,
"Oh, you are back. Hello, good morning, happy Fay Day. What has come of my shipment?"
And then Rock holds up the placard. Spanish Mustache, we went to investigate. We found a snowman, which I don't think we did it, but we also encountered a ogre zombie. And unfortunately, your cart, we found it in 2 different places because it was broken. And we found some logs, so I don't know how many there were previously, but we found some, and unfortunately they were too heavy for us to attempt to bring them back. But just as proof of purchase, and then he holds up the placard, this, I believe, is yours. And then he hands it up to Spanish Mustache, who takes it with one of his hands.
Undead zombie ogre. Shame. I will have others pick up the shipment. Thank you very much for taking care of that for me.
And then he reaches back into the depths of the wooden barn and places the placard elsewhere. And then he comes back.
I remember what you brought in yesterday, plans for your house. As a reward, then we will start some of those furniture pieces. We actually have a couple available now, which we can deliver to you in a couple of hours. But if you help me with more Emerald Enclave quests, I will reward you with more.
And as a reminder, the Emerald Enclave is very much the nature preservation faction and guild of Waterdeep. So he mentioned that a couple episodes ago, but I wanted to reiterate. And Rock goes, "That is extraordinarily generous. Thank you very much. I'm sure we have completed a quest. Look at that."
Congratulations.
And then Rock beams up at Toot Toot. Yes, we did. Look at that. Yes, Spanish Mustache, we would be glad to help you out with more. We need to scurry on home real quick, but we will absolutely be in contact.
Okay, and be safe out there. You never know who you will find.
And Spanish Mustache, with his Spanish moss dangling in a handlebar formation, kind of moves, shakes his head back and forth. And he has a little bit of the broken bark face too, and the orange motes of light, like one of them goes out and then comes back in his version of a wink. So they finish that, and then they head on back towards the Troll Skull Manor, where Rock and Toot Toot, on the way down there and watching as people trickle out of buildings and then like go to the next building, very much like a trick-or-treaters. And some of them, like, this is the most people that they've seen out in the streets, because since this past 10-day of Waterdeep has been super, super cold, then everyone has been bundled up and hurrying home. So now things are warming up just in time for the equinox. So people are out and about, and Toot Toot says, kind of in a hushed tone, "Okay, so we need to go back home. Speaking of Emerald Enclave, Rock, we should figure out which factions and guilds we want to be a part of, because it was heavily suggested that we join some, especially if we want to turn the Troll Skull Manor into a functioning tavern. It sounds like that might be expensive, but thankfully we don't have to pay for furniture now. Well, some furniture. We'll see if we can get all of it for free. That would be preferable, or for trade and barter." And then Rock, who's kind of watching Toot Toot, drawing conclusions, and yes, I agree. I actually have the pieces of paper here in my satchel. And then he brings up the various guilds and factions, just as a reminder for me. I think with Vinny and Vicky, the Vulture Aarakocra for Buzzard Bros Butchers, and Talons and Tanny, I think that Onyx may be interested in the Guild of Butchers, or the... what's the other one? Something Tanner. The League of Skinners and Tanners. I think Onyx would be very much interested in that. Spanish Mustache was suggesting the Emerald Enclave. I have not had... those are factions. So the guilds are actually professions, and then the factions are groups of people. Like, the guilds are jobs. Tipsy might be interested in the Splendid Order of Armorers, Locksmiths, and Finesmiths, with locksmith and picking. Or was there another one? As arcane users, you and I, the Council of... oh, no, wait, hold on, sorry. The Watchful Order of Magics and Protectors we signed up for when we were in the government buildings, which was a little hurried. You, Toot Toot, might be interested in the Council of Musicians, Instrument Makers, and Choristers. We might all need to, if we want to rent out some of the other rooms, have to consider the Fellowship of Innkeepers, or the Vintners, Distillers, and Brewers Guild, if we want to serve. Oh boy, this is a lot. Well, we started with furniture, though, so that is good. But let's see, factions. There's Grey Harpers, Lord's Alliance, Order of the Gauntlet. This is, and some others that are kind of blurred out here because they haven't unlocked those yet. And then Tutu goes, well, actually, speaking of Harpers, and then in even more of a hushed tone, when I went back to the Yawning Portal to talk with Durnan, I got intercepted by a couple people. One offered me interest in the Black Network, or the Zentarum, which I would not like. And I don't think anyone in our group actually would favor that. But the other one I heard of was the Harpers, where it seems like they might do the most good. So I will put my hat in that ring, as it were. We need to talk to everyone else, but I think that might be best for all of us. That is what I would prefer. And yeah, that and then he gets into his performing vibe. And that musician one sounds excellent because and then he will actually whip out the motherfucker, which is a race car red shiny 3-necked lute, and then he starts plucking along as they're walking down, just trying to catch snippets of song that he hears and going down because he is trying to learn proficiency in stringed instruments, because his musical proficiencies are horn, flute, pan flute, and bagpipes. So not harp or lute or other guitar. Very well. So as they head on back, when the Troll Skull Manor comes into view, then Toot actually reaches out one of his big Loxodon arms and stops Rock. Wait, hold on. And then Rock looks over at Toot expectantly. When we got our keys, and then he's back down to a whisper. When we got our keys, Tipsy gave me a challenge to hide one of the 2 extra keys around the manor and see if he, as a roguish expert, can try and find it, and then if we can find his key. But I think a key to this is the element of surprise. So, and he looks down at Rock after surveying the facade of the Troll Skull Manor. We should hide ours now, because I don't know if Tipsy hid his already, or if he has not yet, because it's been a while for both of us. So, where do you think we should hide it? And bringing up, well, actually, they're, bam, in the Troll Skull Manor. Oh, spooky! So, this is, I see why I did that. Beep, bop. So, this is the Troll Skull Manor. Blueprints layout. Tipsy's room. Let me get that arrow. No. I clicked the wrong one. So, Tipsy's room is on the 2nd floor, and this is like the front of the building. Troll Skull Manor. So, from an overhead view, then Tipsy's room is like here, facing southward. And they are approaching the Troll Skull Manor from the west. So, as they're facing it, kind of, this is the facade. So, Tipsy's room will actually be on the right side here, facing away from the entrance where they're at now. And Toot asks over to Rock, so, do you have any suggestions? And Rock goes, let's see, I have Mage Hand, which can go up to, I think, 30 feet. Yes, it goes 30 feet, so we could, like, go up to the main entrance, and then you give me the key, and with my Mage Hand, I can, like, lift it above the door frame. That's very obvious, is it not? That is a bit obvious, yes. Let's see. if I lift you, or on patios, or what is... Let us check the front. Like, we will get on the porch here and then check to see if there are any loose boards, which is probably not great because we need to renovate those. But until then, that might be a good hiding spot. So instead of Toot giving Rock... Oh, well, no. Instead of Toot giving Rock advantage, then Toot and Rock are going to roll separately for this. Investigation. So Rock rolled a natural 20 plus 6 investigation, though, so that's the highest anyone in this party can get. But Toot's going to try... Oh, an 18! An 18 plus 2, so a 20. 20 and a 26. With a 20 and a 26, they look around, and all of the boards more or less are still staying to the wall. And then there is the porch that they're in front of right now. But they see these supporting beams right here. All the way up them are kind of these... At the top of these columns holding the porch up, then there are these like little squares where they meet the ceiling, these cubes. And one of them has a like kind of a loose backing to it, and they would not... Here's what it is. So with a natural 20 and a 20, natural 20 with a 6 and then a 20, then they see one of the backings to one of these cubes, and it is perfectly broken, where if you assemble it, then it doesn't look like there's a mark in it at all. So they hide the key there. Oh boy, so that's one key hidden. On top of a column on the porch. Oh boy. And with the 26 and the 20, they also look around for Tipsy's key, and they cannot find it. So either in this front, the front facing Troll Skull Manor, either this side of the manor, it's not there, or Tipsy hid it very, very well, or Tipsy hasn't hidden it yet, but Toot and Rock do not know. So then with their own keys, they open up the door, and then inside they both gasp, because the tap room of Troll Skull Manor, every wall, every surface is this rainbow splash of color, of vegetation. There are purple spiraling spires off in the distance. Like, there are these lovely, incredibly bright, vivid murals, and they are very fantastical, where there's a lot of curves and natural organic shapes and gradients, and it's almost like Elisa Frank does D&D, but it's a little not as pink. But yeah, you see like fields where you can guess it's from the Feywild, and then in the very deep background there, these deep purple spiraling spires, and then elegant like green cities that whose towers reach up to like this night and sunrise, sunset all in once, and there are stars and lots of different planets up in the sky. And then in the midground there are all these trees and forests, and you see every type of vegetation, really. And in all of these trees, then you see different mythological fantasy creatures like peering behind. So there's just color and hidden mystery all around. And in the foreground, then there are flowers that blossom and are just, if you go into 5 flower shops, there are not this variety of flowers, and they're everywhere. And then like the stairs leading up have like this, it's literally every wall, and the bar itself is covered, and the ground, there are like these stepping stones and little ponds and fish in the ponds and little grassy knolls and rabbit holes, and it's breathtaking inside. And you see coming down from the ceiling, which also has thousands of constellations and stars and shooting stars and planets of all formations and multiple moons and little swirling vortexes to different planes. Then you see straightening up from his, lying on his back, floating, very Michelangelo, then Leaf, whose ghostly form is dusted entirely with this colored chalk. And Leaf hears the doors open, and then he looks down at the boys and he goes, which was "Hey guys" in ASL. And both of them are just aghast, both Rock and Toot Toot looking around. Leaf, this is absolutely phenomenal. Did you do all this by yourself? And then Leaf nods. Amazing. Again, as a bard, as a Christopher Walken impressionist, again, as a bard, being speechless is rare, and you, my friend, have created such art beyond words. Oh, it's beautiful. And all of this in chalk as well. And then Leaf floats down to them, and then like as he floats from the ceiling down to the ground, then as his movement halts, then like this dusting falls off him a little bit, because he is again like covered in this chalk art. And then Leaf nods. Well, this is and in Toot Toot's mind right now, he is of divided consciousness. One, he thinks this is one of the most beautiful pieces of art he's ever seen. Two, now as he's starting to think about it, and before he takes a step onto this fresh chalk, then he thinks about the very real danger that were the women that he met in the woods. And he is of a mind of preservation to keep this absolutely beautiful murals work and preserve it as best he can, or starting to like show the wear and tear of it, of if there's chalk on the ground, then inevitably you have to step through it, especially if it's this open tavern. Then he goes, Leaf, this is incredible. Rock, what do you think? And then Rock is looking around, and he actually takes off his glasses and rubs them on his clothes and puts them back on. And then you hear just a bigger gasp. Leaf, at my university, there are thousands and thousands and millions of books, and there are great sections of art history and art appreciation, and there is only so much art you can appreciate when half the page is the art and the other half is commentary upon the art. It is a visceral experience being completely surrounded by it, having your entire eyesight and periphery flooded with these images. I am astounded. And then a silent tear comes to Rock, and he's looking at Toot Toot is he works with words as a living. I write down words in spell books for a living, but I think neither of us have words right now to describe this. This is above and beyond. And then Rock looks down to his feet, and both of them are standing right at the doorway. Well, obviously we need to keep this forever, because this by itself has turned the decrepit Troll Skull Manor. It has elevated it 1,000-fold. So, and then Toot Toot, who his character sheet, his ideals for personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws, his ideals is beauty. When I perform, I make the world better than it was. And even though there is the creeping suspicion in the back of his neck, he goes, yes, we need to keep this art. Leaf, how do we like put varnish on top of it, or resin? How do we keep this forever? And then Leaf like kind of exhales and blushes and turns away and does like the wave, like, oh shucks. So how do I preserve this? Oh my gosh. I checked the chat, and Dodie or something says, Leaf, Frank. Oh, so good. Dodie or something says, who knew he was such a brilliant artist? Delightful. Yeah, huh? I'm just reading back through the chat, and then my dad, Papi Angelito Guapo, says, yeah, yellow pearly dados, which is dice in Spanish. Then how do I preserve it? Like resin, there's magic, right? There's magic, y'all. There's magic in this world. I'm just gonna So prestidigitation cleans stuff. What is the opposite of it? Detect magic, identify mage armor, race. Ooh. Okay. Oh, this is very interesting now. Cool. All right, new magic. But, of course, with new magic comes a whole bunch of new questions. For example, does what I'm thinking have to touch the ground? Or does it float? I don't know the answer to it. Okay, I am gonna say that. Okay, so Rock goes, I have an idea. Leaf, and then the ghostly form who turned around to admire his work turns back around. Huh? Leaf, you are I am certainly not, but you are not particularly strong, correct? Like, I remember some instances where it took a lot of effort for you to move the beds. However, you can't really lift things very well, right? Okay, I figured not. I have a thing where this, I'm sure, took you hours and hours and hours, and, well, you don't sleep. But if you would like some help in preserving this, Leaf, because I feel like me and Toot Toot are not capable. Oh boy, how do I preserve this? I don't know. Like, floor resin is what I think. Oh, okay. So, Cthulhu Hop says, I love the voices. Thank you, Cthulhu Hop. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dodie or something says, spray fixative will preserve chalk in our world. And then Tipsy number 1 fan asks, is what you just said it will work? I don't. It will help. But where would they get spray fixative? Okay. So, beautiful chalk is not, well, I planted it in the last episode, but I didn't expect until it came out of my mouth that it was on the floor and the ceiling and all the walls. So that puts a little bit. Oh my gosh. See, this is why I don't write everything down, because I love discovering things in the moment. Oh, well, golly. Okay. So, Rock yells up the stairs, Tipsy, are you here?
What?
Oh, you are here. Could you come down the stairs, please, but carefully? And then you hear, and then, not a fart, but a chair scooting back, and then,
Oh, what the hell? Guys, there's so much chalk everywhere!
and then both of Rock and Toot Toot gasp and then stare at Leaf. Leaf? Huh? Did you just do downstairs, or did you do everywhere? And then Leaf signs. Signs, I have a lot of free time. So, Toot Toot sighs. Yes, Tipsy. We want to preserve all of the art. So, is there a way you can come downstairs without touching any of it and disturbing it? And then Tipsy, there's like a weird furry thing in the hallway wall staring at me. Then Toot Toot stares down at Leaf. If it scares him, you need to change that, okay? You can put it elsewhere, but don't have... That's very funny, though. You just have, like, a monster staring into Tipsy's room. And then Leaf signs, I wanted to see how long it would take him to notice. That's very funny. But wrong. So is there a way you can come down the stairs without coming down the stairs?
I have a thing. Let's see if it works.
And then, well, you know what? Tipsy never uses magic, so I'm not going to do it as a ritual. I'm going to just do it because I don't want it to take up 10 minutes. So, Tipsy will cast this thing, and then we cut to upstairs, and then Tipsy, who... Let's see, I need to figure out how long did he manage to read yesterday in game. Shay 18. So he read 5 hours the first night he got the book. So from 8 to 1, I should write this down also. So from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Shay 17 night. And then he woke up, he was woken by Toot Toot yesterday for Queso Quest for Shay 18 at like 9. No, I think it was like 8. No, I think it was 9. And then if he read all day yesterday and then into the morning, yeah, let's roll a D6 and a D4 to see if he stood up super late. 5 hours. Okay, that's good. So I was thinking that he read for 9 hours, so 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and then add that 5 hours, so that'll be 2 a.m. Ooh, he's doing a lot of good reading, but he will be exhausted. So 9 a.m. to 2 a.m., that is 17 hours reading yesterday. And then he took a lunch break, but I'm not going to count that against him. So 5 hours. Okay. I'm sure this is fun. 5 hours, 8 p.m. to 1 a.m., Shay 17. 17 hours. Is that a lot? Is that too much? 17 hours? 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., that's 12 hours. And then 4 and 5. 12 hours. 14 hours. 17 hours. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. So 17 hours. So right now, the total is 23 hours read. And then he needs to read 48 hours by the 22nd. So yeah, he's kicking ass. So I will say I will say he woke up like half. Well, no. Stayed up to 2 a.m. Yeah, I will say that. Oh, well, 2 a.m. to 10 is 8 hours. I will say he woke up half an hour ago. So he is half an hour into reading today. Shay 19. I will make that prettier later. Well, I guess I'm doing it right now. So 10 a.m. Okay. Thank you, y'all. Excuse me. So 17 hours. Cool. I was going to roll for it, but if you devote a whole day to reading, like a whole day, and I am not going to say he has to like retain it. I'm not going to do like so what did you learn check. I'm like, if he spent the time moving his eyes over the page, then that counts as reading. Yeah. Okay. So he's more than halfway done, I think. 22 hours. Oh, he's about halfway done. Gosh, that's a lot of reading, y'all. 48 hours, 6 days. Anyways. I think that's fine. Okay. Cool. So, Tipsy read all of that, and then he will have a point of exhaustion, though, which means since he has been just flat out reading, if you've studied so much, then a point of exhaustion is a mechanic where if you have like 4 points of exhaustion, then you die. But before we get to that very dramatic exhaustion. Okay. 181. Excuse me. Where is exhaustion? shoot. Oh, come on.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. That's right. So, exhaustion. If you have 6 levels of exhaustion, then that is death. But exhaustion, some special abilities and environmental hazards, such as starvation and the long-term effects of freezing or scorching temperatures, or reading for like many days, can lead to a special condition called exhaustion. Exhaustion is measured in 6 levels. An effect can give a creature 1 or more levels of exhaustion, as specified in the effect's description. Level 1, disadvantage on ability checks. So he will have that. And I've only heard of like 3 or 4 achieved in any of my games that I listen to. But just to give y'all a sense, level 1 exhaustion, disadvantage on ability checks. Level 2 exhaustion, speed halved and disadvantage on ability checks. Level 3, disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. Level 4, hit point maximum halved. Level 5, speed reduced to 0. Level 6 death. Wow, I didn't know that. Cool. So, I will say that Tipsy got a level 1 of exhaustion. Disadvantage on ability checks. Finishing a long rest reduces a creature's exhaustion level by 1, provided that the creature has also ingested some food and drink. So technically he got 8 hours of sleep from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m., but I'm saying that this is hard work to do every single day. So with that, he gets down. We're with Tipsy up in the second floor. He opened the door to see this furry beast drawn up on the wall staring at Tipsy. And then Tipsy, I don't want that. And so he steps back a little bit. And just as a detail, Leaf has just painted chalked all of the hall walls. Not going into anyone's room, except maybe his room, but we'll see when we get up there. And then Tipsy steps back and then sits down.
Shit.
And then he casts something. But we'll see what that is after I get back from intermission. So, thank you so much for joining me in episode 21, the last episode of 2021. And we'll do a quick little intermission. And we'll be back. So enjoy my old theatrical and mocap reel because I got a motion capture audition to do tomorrow. So here we go.
Great. Just so you guys know, there's no group sex. Okay, fine, group sex.
No. Question! Did you melt all the weapons?
Yeah, that's how we made these cool little peace thingies.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, Civil War general, you must know how to fight?
Sure. Poverty, sexism, social injustice.
Now, from where I stand, there's only one thing we can do.
Group sex. Right? No. We'll fight then.
You'll be the first to die, but I like your enthusiasm.
You might die.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
I am looking for,
Brian, he's not here today. Sorry, we can't give that out. You could leave him a note. I think he works again next week.
I'll,
We can't stay here. Why not? It isn't safe. You're overreacting. Not this time. Are you scared? Well, at least we are here together. Does anybody know we're here? Did you hear something?
Oh boy, that was one of of the closest that intermission's ever been. Whew. I'll stall a little bit for anyone using the restroom to come back. Which actually works out well, because I need to read the specifics of this spell. Okay, well. So, this spell that Tipsy casts, So, Tipsy opens the door, sees the scary creature chalked up on the wall, and then steps back, and then sits down, and then goes, okay. Normally, this is a ritual spell, but I am so tired right now that if I spend the 10 minutes concentrating, I will fall back asleep. So, here we go. And then he casts something that this gunmetal gray disc appears in front of him. And this circular horizontal plane of force is 3 feet in diameter and 1 inch thick and floats 3 feet above the ground. And then it's just standing there hovering like a futuristic disc. And then he goes, okay. So this is something that I think would work. And then Tipsy walks towards it and it's just standing still in the air. And then Tipsy climbs up on top of it and goes, okay, so move forward, Tensor's floating disc. And it doesn't move. He goes, okay. And then he sits up to the edge of it and then kind of like when you're on top of a hill and you're sledding down and you have to give yourself a little momentum to scoot yourself closer and then start it up. And then he kind of scoots up closer. And it's not moving at all. He goes, okay. Tipsy, are you coming up? You hear Toot Toot calling up the stairs.
Yeah, just give me a moment.
Maybe I get off of it and then push it from behind to give it. So then Tipsy crawls backwards and then comes off of it. And then he is pushing the Tensor's floating disc. And then it does not move. And then he's like, and like you see his feet struggling and like sliding across the ground. Okay. Well, let's fucking see. How big is Tipsy's room? Tipsy's room is, each of these little squares represents 5 feet. So that is 15 feet across. So Tipsy goes, oh, well, wait, hold on. Is this a thing? And then he goes to the edge of his room and like sandwiches himself up against the wall. And the disc is unmoving. And he goes, more like Tensor's unfloating. Well, it is still floating, I guess, but unmoving disc. You piece of shit. And then he goes up and kicks it. Ow! Fuck. Because Tipsy, he has kind of the right spirit to it, but what he cast it before, well, I wanted him to fail, because sometimes you have to fail in life, folks. So Tensor's floating disc is great, and then it follows you if you move more than 20 feet away from it. So he can't ride it, and he can't push it, or pull it, rather. Like, he walks 20 feet away from it, and then the disc follows him. And I was going to have another thing where if it changes in elevation, then it disapparates. But actually, it can move up and down stairs. But Tipsy goes, well, that didn't work. I cannot exit my room. Oh, bollocks. And then he goes over to his window and opens it up. And then he will do some sick-ass acrobatics out his window to fall. Oh, I just moved something, I guess. To fall, hopefully gracefully, down to the first floor. So let's do some acrobatics. 17 plus 9. That was a very good choice on Tipsy's behalf. So you hear from downstairs, we're with Toot Toot, Rock, and Leaf now, and then you hear,
bollocks.
and then Tipsy climbs out the window and like does some Jackie Chan cool monk shit on his way down the outside of the building, and then with Rock and Toot Toot and Leaf sitting there like kind of listening inwards, then you see Tipsy come up behind, in between Rock and Toot Toot, and like looking into the tap room. And what are we looking for?
Oh, golly. You scared me. You warn an elephant before you do that.
I thought you had big giant ears.
Well, I was listening for up the stairs. I wasn't listening like behind you. Whatever. So this is...
Oh, wow. This is really cool.
Yeah. So this is the new tap room. We are going to preserve this beautiful art because Leaf did a great job. And then Tipsy goes,
yeah, I know. I gave him that chalk. Speaking of which, if you want to, kick in a silver or two, because I paid for all of the chalk that Leaf used.
Really? You're going to? I mean, we just completed a quest to get us free furniture, and you are asking for a silver? How much was it?
5 silver altogether.
I mean, this is worth more than 5 silver, but I guess. So Toot Toot and Rock start digging around in their coin purse, and then they will each produce... What's 5 divided by 4? God damn it, y'all. Chat, what's 5 divided by 4? Oh, no, this is embarrassing. I need to figure that out. 1 and 1.2, right? That sounds about right. Let me look on the internet for something completely different. 1.25, okay. Yeah, great. So, 1 silver, and then 25. How does that work in copper? 1 penny? 1 dime? Oh, boy, I don't know. So, Toot Toot and Rock both give Tipsy 1 silver, and then each of them will give over 3 copper, because they don't have change.
Boop. 1 silver, 3 copper. 1 silver, 3 copper for chalk.
Boop, boop. I will do that math later, because as you can see, I'm totally good at math live on stream. So Onyx owes his 1 silver and 3 copper, but we'll see if Tipsy brings it up ever. So then,
yeah, Tipsy goes, wow, this is really good art. Good job, Leaf. You did it. I'm very tired, guys. Reading that book, you'd like it.
He looks over at Rock. Oh, yes? Can I read it?
No, you can't read. I mean, I think the magic goes away for the century, but you can read just the words if you want. But why would you?
I don't know. Seems pretty interesting. You fucking nerd. I know, right? No, Tutu doesn't say that. He might. Oh. So. Oh, now here's the thing, though. Tenseer's floating disc. Would it follow him out of the window? Oh my gosh, that's very funny. So the window is not, well, how wide is the floating disc? Oh my gosh, what a complication. 3 feet in diameter. How big is a window? I guess no, I feel like, how big is that window? That's less than 5 feet. Oh, but it's less than 5 feet. And there's a whole... I just want to make sure that... Okay. There's a whole... Tipsy has a balcony. Let me... With my little arrow. Tipsy has a balcony, but he has a window. Oh, wait. Are those doors? No. These are doors. And this is a window. He has 2 windows. Let's say that window is 5 feet, because that's funny. So, 5 feet window. Oh, boy. So that does bring into consideration the elevation difference, because 282. I had more plans, but them preserving this art is very important now. If you move more than 20 feet away from it, the disc follows you so that it remains within 20 feet of you. It moves across uneven terrain, up or down stairs, slopes, and the like, but it can't cross an elevation change of 10 feet or more. For example, the disc can't move across a 10-foot deep pit, nor could it leave such a pit if it was created at the bottom. I would say, well, then what happens to it? I shouldn't have closed my book. Because I don't think it could survive. If you move more than 100 feet from the disc, typically because it can't move around an obstacle to follow you. Well, what happens? I guess the spell ends. If you move more than 100 feet from the disc, typically because it can't move around an obstacle to follow you, the spell ends. Okay, so I will say that Tenser's floating disc will reach the window, and then as soon as most of it is out of the window, then that 10 feet of differentiation from the second floor to the first floor, then it just like hovers and then it bloop, blips out of existence. That was an interesting thought experiment, though. I appreciate it. So then Tipsy goes, okay, so I have a solution on kind of how to, well, unless I float. Can I float? I don't think I can float. Can anyone float? Can either of you float? Do you have like a fly spell or something? No, not yet. That is not an illusion spell. Yeah, it's not an illusion spell. So I could do Tenser's floating disc, but I kind of have to be 20 feet or something. I don't know. So, hey, I'm here. What's up?
Oh, well, so we need to preserve it.
So I guess we need chemicals and stuff. Where can we get chemicals?
Check your little mappy thingy.
And then Rock looks at his map and goes, I mean, oh shit, I should look at it. I'm stumped, y'all. This is, let's see. The stores that we have been to around the Troll Skull Manor has been the Forest for the Trees, Steam and Steel, and Bookworm's Treasure. The other ones aren't really applicable in this situation. So, then... Oh, Veneer, though? Would the Forest for the Trees... They might have some of that clear shit. So... And I don't want to spend too much time looking at the wizard. Alright, if I can't figure this out in 5 minutes, then we'll move on, because that was pretty much the whole episode. Okay, so we'll do a thing. We will instead... Oh, interesting. So Rock and Toot Toot will go, okay, I don't know any stores that might specifically have this, but I know a store that might generally have this. So they go to the Common Goods store, which has just a bunch of common goods shit, and then they enter in, and a lot of the shelves have, like, since it's a big holiday in its general goods store, then a lot of the shelves are, like, when you go into a grocery store and then they restock the next day. So a lot of the shelves are pretty empty. And then you see a hurried, haggard, just regular guy behind the counter. And then he looks up and then he immediately starts shaking because he sees the return of this half orc and this towering Loxodon come in, but then also a gnome. So he, can I help you guys? Yes, your name. Oh, sorry. Loxodon never forgets, but I do sometimes. Hugh. Your name is Hugh, is that right? Yes, it is. It's Hugh. And then it's Toot and Rock. I don't know your name. I'm Tipsy. Well, it's a celebration, so you can do whatever you want. Yeah, how can I help you guys? Yes, Hugh, we are looking for something rather specific, so it might not be in this general goods store, which is generally great. I really like your store. You are making me very nervous, Hugh. I'm sorry. Should I stop? No, I just, you're you're visibly shaking. Okay. And then he like wipes his forehead with the back of his hand, and you see it shimmer a little bit. Like this oil spill, a little bit rainbowy. And then Tipsy goes, oof, a doof. Yeah, do you have, what is it called, resin? Do you have clear fixative? Oh my gosh. So chat, Tipsy #1 fan says AC more, but armor class and more. That's very good. Michael's, but it's pronounced Michaelis. Hobble Lobble. Golems, Joanne's. Apothecary are us. Well, I want to make one now. So let's see. Craft store. Dark arts and crafts. The dark arts. Arts and crafts. Cool. So, Hugh goes, so like resin to pour. Oh, so you're like finishing floors and stuff? Yeah, something like that. We're doing, don't worry about it. So do you have it? I can check. And then he goes back in, like he moves a curtain behind the desk and goes in to the back room, and you can hear some rummaging around a little bit. And then Tipsy says, I don't think this place has it. Like, where else can we go? We can go to the forest for the trees. Maybe they have like a finishing for it. And then, okay. So then Hugh comes out. Yeah, I have some. Just a couple buckets, if that's what you should like do a floor, right? Yeah, we'll need a lot more for like the walls and all the other floors and the ceiling. Can that go on a ceiling? And then Hugh goes, wow. Well, I only have like the well, here, I'll do this. No. Oh, not a 1. So I only have four buckets altogether, which can do a good sized floor. So here you go. Oh, thanks. And then he puts the 4 buckets of, that thing you pour on the thing and then it makes the floors pop. So we'll do that, I guess. And then, yeah, here you go. That's 5 silver each. So it's 20 silver. And then 20 silver is split 3 ways between my 3. Oh, that's interesting. They traded Onyx for Tipsy, so future victor. 20 silver split 3 ways so that we don't have to embarrass ourselves. So then they leave and, well, they get the buckets. They give over the 20 silver. And Tipsy goes, are you okay, man? You're really wigging out. No, I'm fine. I just want just normal interactions. Okay. Have a nice payday, man. And then they leave, and then the camera lingers on Hugh at the front desk, staring out the window a little bit, and then you see him give himself a purposeful nod. And then we cut away to in front of Troll Skull Manor again, and Rock goes, okay, so what I was saying earlier was I have this thing. However, I do think it touches the ground. So I will spend 10 minutes casting this thing ritually. And Tipsy goes, oh my God. Do you need me? Because I can really keep reading that book. We enjoy your company, but yeah, okay. And so then Tipsy goes back to underneath his window on the second floor. Yeah, I guess. Oh, that's cool. So he has Mage Hand, and I want to do a lot more stuff with Mage Hand. And I want to do a lot more stuff of Rock being an illusion-based magic user. But with Mage Hand, I want to do more stuff, but it only like holds 5 pounds worth of weight. So I wanted him to try and climb. I wanted Tipsy to try and climb up the wall, the outside wall, and then using like the Mage Hand as like a hand reaching down to help him up on a ledge or something. But Tipsy's a little bit more than 5 pounds. So, but that's interesting. I like it. Oh, and he also had feather fall instead of the acrobatics. So then Tipsy climbs back upstairs, and he will like rock climb. So he'll do another acrobatics. 11 plus 9. Ugh, bonkers. With a 20, then he easily... Stupid art, even though I really like it. Although, and then as he climbs in the open window, because he didn't close it, then he goes, Leaf, we really need to change what's outside my door, because I don't like a big old scary thing staring at me. And then Leaf, who's at the front of the door downstairs staring at Rock and Tutu, goes, which is funny. So then Rock sits down with his spellbook, and he will cast this at first level. Ooh, I don't think it makes any difference if you cast it at another level, like at a higher level, but he will cast Unseen Servant ritually, so that's 10 minutes plus whatever. So this Unseen Servant is like a invisible, mindless, shapeless, medium force performs simple tasks. So with this, for the next hour, then Leaf will... So this Unseen Servant and Leaf will pour the 4 buckets of clear floor polish over the floors. Oh, before they left the general goods store, which is called Common Items. Whoops. As they leave Common Items, then they ask Hugh to order more, like a lot more buckets for later. So they will pick that up eventually. Future Victor, write that down, please, for future things. So they will pick up more buckets of whatever this is later. And then over the next hour, then the Unseen Servant and Leaf floats a little bit across and then pours. Well, shoot, because Leaf can't lift that much, and a bucket is more than 5 pounds probably. So the Unseen Servant will lift the thing, although it has a 2 strength, which is like -4 modifier. So, boy, none of these are strong at all. What an interesting... I got tussled in this. It's like for Critical Role in the first campaign, they could not open doors to save their lives, and then in the second campaign they were mystified by this chair. So it's kind of like one of those where a simple task. So the Unseen Servant will pour a little out forwards, and then Leaf, who can float above it, Leaf can have the squeegee on a stick to help spread it around. So that's what that is doing. And then boom. All right. So then after some is poured, then Toot Toot will step into the doorway and then concentrate and move his ears back and forth, and he will cast Gust as a racial trait, which I think Loxodon should have because he has big old ears. then he will cast Gust to like cure swatches of this floor so that he can walk on it. And then so after the hour that the unseen servant lasts, then the bottom floor is completely cured and preserved. We still need to deal with the walls and the stairs and the other floors of this 4-story endeavor, but we'll do that later because this was a lot. Floors is the focus of this episode, I guess. So after that, after the unseen servant is shapeless, so it's not out of breath or anything, and then Leaf is incorporeal, so he's not out of breath. But after all that, this is again, Toot Toot says, Leaf, this is absolutely extraordinary. Beautiful work. Leaf, I want you to be aware because Tipsy's upstairs, so he is more or less out of trouble. Let's hope he stays that way for now. Leaf, I want you to be aware. I don't know how much influence they have over the afterlife and those who have passed, but since today is Fae Day, and then Leaf excitedly like claps his hands together and nods, like really just when you're super excited about like Christmas or something. Yes, how much do you know about the Fae though? And then through sign language, then Leaf, just a little bit. Well, I know that it's more superstition outside of the city limits, but I want you to be aware that we have encountered some individuals, and I want you to be very careful because they will try and trick you and anyone connected to anyone really. Just please be very aware. Like if someone comes up to our door and their costume is very convincing, just keep an eye out. All right? And then Leaf nods. Okay, thank you. Because we just got this place and we just did these floors, so I don't want to lose it through clever wording. So, meanwhile, Rock, you and I, we... At this point, actually, cool. At this point, Toot Toot, with the slowly building din outside, because now it is like noonish. Wait, hold on. Yeah, because they got in. Yeah, okay. So it's like noonish. It's getting into the afternoon. So outside, the streets are like, there's a lot more people in the streets, and the frivolity is getting cranked up, and there's music leaking out of buildings and people coming around. Oh my goodness, excuse me. So Toot Toot turns around to see just the filled streets and goes, okay, so I think we should prepare just in case people, and then this little figure comes over some of the crowds and kind of flies towards Toot Toot and then lands at his feet, and he looks down and it is a folded paper crane, and he goes, oh, it worked. Okay, fabulous. Gentlemen, hold on 2 seconds. And so he bends down and then picks it up, and then he starts unfolding it. Okay, so this is from Ban, and it looks like he could in fact say Toot Toot through the bandages and his maybe broken jaw. So
Toot, toot. Toot, toot, toot. I guess that's the easiest. That was me trying to say rock. I don't think it worked very well. No, I don't think so either. Yep, no, I think toot toot is really, because I tried saying onyx and tipsy next. But it turns out that, okay, sorry. And so he unfolds it, and then he reads, and, Toot Toot is reading it, and his brows kind of furrow, and he goes, well, he scratches his forehead. That's not really informative. And then Rock goes, what does it say? Well, it is pretty much just describing where we met in the alleyway. Like, it's talking about the light shining off of the snow. It's very flowery, which is surprising. What else does it say? Like, does it give any instructions, or is it not really? It's talking about a lamppost. Like, am I supposed to meet him back there, or I have an idea. Hold on a second. And then Toot Toot walks off of the porch and then rounds towards Tipsy's side of the mansion, of the manor, and then he looks up and to the open window. Tipsy! What? Oh my God, I'm trying to read. What is it? What? And then Tipsy's head pokes out like halfway to the window. What do you want? Tipsy, I am sorry for interrupting you again, but this is a message from our, and then he like, oh, because they know ASL, then they can sign to each other without shouting. Wow, y'all, I think I broke D&D. Wow. They can, yeah, so then he, wow, I was just being considerate for, wow, cool. So this is a message from, and then he signs, Ban. And then Tipsy goes, and could you look at it? Because I think it's in a different language than what I can speak, which is Common and Loxodon. And then Tipsy, where is it? Send it up. I don't have, I can try and send it. And then Tipsy kind of just sharply grunts. And then you see you see a shimmer in the air, and then like these 5 little lines of air shift downwards, and an invisible mage hand, which he has with Legerdemain, mage hand Legerdemain, floats down, then snatches the paper from Toot Toot, and then floats up, and then delivers it into the window, and then Tipsy ducks into his room again, reading it. Oh. Ugh. And then he pokes his head out the window and signs down, it's in thieves' can't. And then Toot Toot goes, I knew it. So here I have another idea. And then, well, they could just message back and forth using sign language. But then he goes and retrieves Rock from the porch and then goes under Tipsy's window. All right. And then from the window upstairs, then you see Toot Toot whispering in Rock's ear, and then Tipsy going, this is a waste of my time. And then you hear in Tipsy's head, Rock going, hello, this is Rock. I am casting message in your head. How much is message? How many words can I say? Message is I can just whisper a message. Oh, cool. I thought it was a word limit. Sending is a word limit, but message is just a message. Hello, this is Rock. I am speaking in your head. Please describe what the Thieves' Cant letter says. You can reply to this message. And then Tipsy pretty much says back down to Rock, who will whisper it in Toot Toot. What a very convoluted way, but they can't walk in the halls currently right now, which is a fun, bizarre complication. So Tipsy reads that Ban is saying that right now the coast is clear. Xanathar and the guild isn't up to anything more suspicious than normal. Things are quiet. If you want more updates, I will need more paper birds tomorrow morning at the place where you met. That's why he kind of... And Thieves' Cant is very much like the hobo symbols. If you see them on the sides of building, like there is food here or easy mark. But also like what I'm interpreting it is if there's a page, then it's like hidden. Like if you capitalize a weird word in the middle, like if you capitalize a letter in the middle of an unusual word, or you can read in between the lines, or like if you hold it up to the light, or if you read just the first letter of every line or something, like a lot of those little tricks that you can use to communicate languages, but only someone who writes in Thieves' Cant, only someone who reads Thieves' Cant can read it. Otherwise it's just like, yeah, very flowery, for this instance, description of the side of a building and how much wind it can endure and stuff. So yeah, if you want more of these messages, I need more paper birds, and then I can meet you at the same spot tomorrow morning. And something is brewing, but he's not high enough in the organization to know more than that. It looks like he... And then Tipsy pokes his head out the window because this is no longer sensitive. It looks like he's a valuable informant guy. So let's keep him. Do we have to pay him? And then Tutu goes, oh, I forgot how much I paid him. I paid him like 10 gold or something. Ugh. But Rock, if you could give me a couple more paper birds, because I have 5 paper birds. I said it was maybe 6 paper birds altogether in that box, but in that shallow cigar box that Rock bought from Paige, then there were in fact 10 paper birds. So Rock, if I could have 7 paper birds altogether, if you can give me 2 more. Easy peasy. Yes, here you go. And so then Toot Toot now has 7 paper birds. Rock has 3 paper birds. Tipsy is back at his desk reading. And then Future Victor, write this down, that tomorrow, so Shay 20, then Toot Toot, Ban will be expecting Toot Toot by the yawning portal. So with that, so Tipsy ducks back into his room and goes, now leave me alone, or Leaf, like you can deal with Leaf, okay? But let me finish his book. And then Toot Toot turns to Rock. All right. So those are the 2 smaller members of the party. I have something to check in on. Would you care to join me as I make my way back down to the yawning portal, or would you rather be here? And then Rock says, I actually have some things I would like to talk to Paige about for books of like learning more ASL and some other stuff. So I just, Pages, I don't know if you know, Tutu, Paige is the very wonderful bookstore owner for Bookworm's Treasure. I don't remember if I specifically said that, but she, I am smitten. And we were talking earlier about how beautiful Leaf's chalk drawings are, and how neither of us had the words, but we were talking earlier about you, how beauty is one of your ideals, and we were talking also about how one of your flaws is I am a sucker for a pretty face, and so am I in this instance, apparently. And that one of your personality traits is, and I'm reading this from the character sheet, is that you are a hopeless romantic, always searching for that special someone. Well, Toot, as an arcane spellcaster who specifies and specializes in performative words and art, how do you poetry? And then Toot, taken aback, goes, how do I poetry? Well, Rock, you are adorable. For me being in university, there were, again, thousands upon thousands of books about poetry, but I had no interest then. I just wanted to learn more. I didn't appreciate the literary arts as I probably should have, but can you break it down for me, please? All right, well, there are different types. I think if I break it down to you literally, then that might help you creatively. So poetry consists of rhyming and stanzas and meter. So for example, you can the rhythm of a sentence is something to consider. Like, it has a natural progression, and you can talk about you can talk about how she makes you feel, compare her looks to things, but they have to be nice. For poetry, they have to be nice. Well, if you want intermediate or advanced poetry, then you kind of neg just a little bit. But the bard, capital T, capital B, he has a sonnet where he completely negged the whole time. Like, her hair is like wire. Shall I compare thee to a midsummer's day? No. Which one's the neg one? I don't remember. But one of Shakespeare's sonnets is pretty much like, I could describe her beauty, but she's not that beautiful or something. Okay, now I need to look it up. Negative sonnet, I guess. Oh, come on. Anyways, I'll look that up. That'll be a DN research after the fact, because I did a project on it. Oops, sonnet 130 says chat, Sarah. Yeah, okay. So to give y'all a little dramatic reading here by Toot of the Bard's sonnet, the 130th sonnet. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes is there more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath the far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare. So, after reciting that, then Rock goes, I see. Yes, that is far more advanced than what I am capable of right now. Please keep explaining the elements. Well, comparing her looks, but as long as they're nice. But really, as long as it's genuine, then that's the most important part. Because you can have the most flowery song with the most interesting timbre, but if there's nothing emotionally behind it, then it's just a bunch of jibber jabber. Right. And then Tutu goes, you know what? Here. This is iambic pentameter. And so then he helps Rock through the formula of iambic pentameter. This is a haiku, 575. This is, and then he walks through like a different formulas for poems. And you can see Rock picking up those. Oh, okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. This is interesting because when I read some of my more advanced spells and some of the nonfiction that I read, then, it evokes imagery and really sharp mental pictures. So I think that's good. I think, though, I will still get a book or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 books just to... Yes, just to help, and Tutu putting a hand on Rock's shoulder. And she can help you pick out those books. You can go, oh, Paige, who's your favorite poet? Who is your favorite bard? And then when she says my name first, because, that's more of a, like, I'm a very good bard, not because she's choosing me over... No, it was a joke. It didn't really work. So after, then she will bring out some examples that it's not a bad thing to copy from the greats. That is how you learn. You cannot draw if you've never seen a drawing before. I learned from my group of bards how to sing and be merry. So, yes, get a couple books about poetry and then... ASL and other things that you need, then I will head on down to the Yawning Portal, and then Tutu casts a little something on himself. Rock, with Tutu's hand still on his shoulder, unmoved, then sees Tutu's form morph and shift, and Tutu, his form beefs out, and he grows from his 7'3" to 8'3", and his brown skin turns rock gray. And as his form shifts and grows upwards, then his ears shrink in, his bald head becomes more profound. You see tattoos, like black, tribal, kind of Pacific Islander tattoos, geometric, start swirling on his face and on his neck and down his very muscular chest, and his arms grow out real big, and you see his nose completely shrink to a normal nose, but like he gets a black beard around him, and then furs, like his fur outfit morphs into like this fur shoulder strap bandolier, and he gets this belt with a art, dwarven art is Art Deco or Art Nouveau. I think it's Art Deco, but like this geometric dwarf belt buckle. And then when he finishes disguising self into this Goliath barbarian, then he goes,
and then to keep up with Fayday tradition, I suggest you look a little bit different, ye old illusion-based magician.
And then the form of Grog
turns around, gives a jaunty wave, and then starts cutting through the crowd, getting a lot of stares, looks, and like gasps. Oh, wow! As Toot Toot, the disguised Toot Toot, walks down the street southward towards the yawning portal. And that is where we're going to leave off episode 21, the last episode of 2020. And thank you so much for joining me, everybody. My name is Victor Rivera, and this is D&Me, a one-man show where I play Dungeons & Dragons by myself. I stream Wednesday nights on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I upload the video the following morning, Thursdays, on my YouTube page. Today's show will be up tomorrow, Thursday, December 30th. There's so little 2021 left, yo. And then next week's episode will be live Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. 2022. 22. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and podcast form and a bunch of other stuff where you can find it right there on my link tree, linktr.ee/DnMeAdventures and like gnome. And I roll to see which of my characters gives tonight outro. Last time was Toot Toot, but he was the last of the four, so it refreshes. And Tipsy's 1, Onyx is 2, Rock is 3, Toot Toot is 4. 2, Onyx.
I am working on bones and hides and my trophies, and I have my 2 buzzard friends here to help me, and they love me so much.
No, we don't. Oh my god, now he's singing? Holy crap.
I love the smell of this, and I got bones. Doopy 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 doop doop doop. Good night.